Nike have seen to be doing a lot of cleanup work in the background. When I say cleanup work, I say this to say they fired. I don't know if they, because I think fire is kind of harsh.
Yeah, I wouldn't say they fired him. I think it was what they'll say in the formal papers and whatnot is we came to a mutual agreement.
Mutual agreement
with
John Donahoe. So John Donahoe has left Nike.
He's gonna see out his tenure up until January.
Yeah,
where the new guy on the block, the new old guy that's been there for a while. You know, when they first announced Elliot Hill joining Nike, everyone was posting up his CV from LinkedIn, and it's just years. Started off as an intern, and then just gradually went up and up and up into the corporate, and then decided in 2018, you know what, I need experience in my own life for a little bit. Stepped away, was able to look from like an outside perspective, and now he was like, Nike, I can save you, and he stepped up to the plate.
Go on.
You know what's like mad ironic? Allegedly, I don't know the facts, but allegedly John Donahoe hosted Elliot Hill's leaving drinks.
Mad.
Allegedly. But it was his idea to have Elliot Hill have like it was his idea to do leaving drinks for Elliot Hill.
Oh, so they were going to do it without him?
No, it was his idea to do it for him.
I guess that's nice.
Like, because when he retired, innit? Allegedly.
It looks like when John Donahoe was leaving, I feel like a lot of people, obviously they said it anonymously, but a lot of Nike employees were open to see him leave, if that makes sense. Because it looks, from what it looks like John Donahoe went very by the book. It feels like Elliot Hill was always that fun teacher, but John Donahoe was just strict teacher that just, guys, silence in class, you guys need to get your work done. But Elliot Hill was like, yeah, no, you guys, we can chat, we'll do work, but we can chat a bit, we just need to
teach about life, not just about the book.
I feel like it's tough though. I feel like for John's position, Nike didn't go through a smooth transition. He came in.
Oh, okay.
And obviously the pandemic was like sell. And brands were like, all right, cool, let's make some racks. So we're selling. And all of a sudden now, it's like, oh, don't sell anymore. Nobody's buying it, so you got to make less. And how do you as a brand adapt to that? So I feel like it's less to being open to John Donahoe to leave, and more open to just wanting a general change and a general shift of personnel. I think if anyone was in that position and the same happened to them, it'll be the same sort of persona in a sense.
But what I was thinking, like, so obviously that pandemic period of time is a very unique situation. Like, if anyone else was in that position, you would have had to make that same decision. Because when you think about it now, let's say if Nike didn't basically pump all the shoes that the consumers wanted at that time, the amount of layoffs that would be happening now would be so much worse.
So much worse.
Because they would not have made enough money at that time to stay afloat. So, but yeah, it's like, he's that figurehead, innit? Regardless, people are going to associate this like peak period of time with
which is I guess it's his fault and it's not his fault. Like,
it's just kind of sad.
It's literally sink or swim.
What comes with being the CEO, innit?
Many said that they felt under John Donahoe's tenure that Nike took fewer risks and didn't do as good of a job of connecting to some of the key sporting communities that make up Nike's consumer base. So as we said, it looked like he was just in there for the numbers. Elliot Hill, obviously being there from the jump, he understands more what encompasses the brand, because John Donahoe before Nike was at eBay.
Pretty sure it was eBay,
eBay, and then ServiceNow, and all of these other tech related companies. Whereas Elliot Hill has always been there. So from what I've read, it looks like Nike employees were like happy for him to be back, and he looks like he's really come back to bring what Nike is / was exactly when it comes to storytelling, when it comes to product, and things like that. Some cited few examples of initiatives that John Donahoe killed, as well as a growing culture clash between data-driven CEO with a tech background and long-time Nike employee who had fine-tuned their gut instincts over the years to basically suss out and see what resonates with the consumers.
I think also, like, again, where John's come through the way he's come through, it's a lot easier for Nike employees or Nike like execs to trust a fellow Nike, a fellow full-blooded Nike, for what want of a better word.
Yeah.
When you think of like Game of Thrones, there was always like a much bigger respect for the full-blood family members as opposed to the half-blood family members. I feel like the same thing.
Did you watch Game of Thrones, man?
Yeah.
Oh, same. Cool.
There's always like
about muggle blood and stuff. Like, this isn't Harry Potter, bro. Like, I don't know what's going on.
There's always like a much bigger respect for people who have like similar DNA to you.
Okay.
As opposed
The only way I can link this. Sorry,
Bro,
guys.
Grassroots.
No, I was literally about to say
Marcus Rashford has more trust from his fellow Manchester United players than, say, for example,
even that. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer.
Yeah.
Is okay. Cool. For the people saying you started playing football at a club and obviously later down the line you left the club and you come back and you're the manager, rather than a guy that was employed to take them out of relegation. Like, you understand the club more, you understand what they want, how they operate,
and you embody that sense of pride.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Been in their shoes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
On the pitch.
Yeah.
One of
probably step through all, like, at some point a position near you or adjacent to that you can see relatively, and it's tangible.
When a renovation happened, you were there.
Literally.
Yeah.
One former Nike employee, speaking obviously anonymously, said that Elliot Hill championed a project that a lot of the Nike employees were trying to push and spearheaded those projects, whereas John Donahoe, whilst being a CEO, killed the projects because it was apparently too small. So it looks like
he wasn't willing to buy the dip.
Exactly.
Which is again comes back to the whole thing of,
because he just needs to make money. Like, he's there. Yeah. Obviously, fair enough. That's life, innit? You've come into a business. You're here to do a job. This is your job. Your job is working at the moment, so they're here. Obviously, we've spoken about it before, ones and zeros. A lot of these people just want to see ones and zeros.
Yeah.
But where Elliot Hill can probably bring back the hype, we're going to speak about it in a second. But obviously, being in the brand and understands storytelling and things like that, hopefully he can bring up with, because it looks like Nike's just like an engine right now. There's no actual...
You need heart.
Yeah, exactly.
I think also with the way I'm viewing the situation as well, again, I'm not trying to give John Donahoe excuses here, but obviously, like, as a CEO, people think that CEO just makes decisions. They also are given a mandate before they enter.
I don't even think he's being given excuses, just being grown and understanding the market.
I feel like
one side to the situation.
Yeah.
I feel like, for example, like with a CEO, before you're assigned, you're given a mandate by your shareholders. Shareholders include company employees. They also include people like within the executive, like the executive arm of the business, and also include like external shareholders as well. And all these people come together and basically give you a mandate on what they want you to do. If your main mandate is make sales and make money, and you have a scheme that is taking more money than it's making money for you, automatically in your head you're thinking, it's not making me bread. This is a loss right now. It's a sink. I've got bare water, but this is going down the drain because of this project here.
Yeah.
Let's cut it.
Yeah.
And it's just as cutthroat as that. And even though, and I think where Elliot Hill comes in differently is that Elliot Hill is, again, Nike through and through. So he'll be able to see the value of some things because he's seen the cycles before. He'll be able to
the value of some people.
He'll be able to translate certain things over as well in terms of like cool. We talk about trainers, so we know about trainers. If we're talking to somebody about science, we might not necessarily be able to connect with them on the same level because they're talking about science, we're talking about trainers. However, Elliot Hill has gone through talking about trainers and then on his journey understood the way to talk about science. So when it gets to now speaking to shareholders, he can deal with them with whatever language he needs to because he understands both sides of the story. And has also taken the time to be away from the brand and just experience life outside of just being a Nike employee and what that's like.
Before retiring in 2020, he was a president of Consumer and Marketplace, which was leading all commercial and marketing operations for Nike and Jordan brand, which is very interesting because prior to 2020, all of these releases and all of the hype I would say up to 22, because 2020 was lockdown. 2020 was lockdown. From, I would say, I can't remember how many, he was in the job for quite a while. The 2016 to 2020 times, if we're talking about Nike and Jordan brand, peak in terms of heat, peak in terms of sales, because obviously there was just a lot more product. There was a lot more things that people wanted. Mm-hmm. Speaking of product and things that people want and people who were working there was Frank Cooke, who has now just come back to Nike.
Yep.
Who was
and that doesn't seem like a spontaneous move.
Yeah,
that seems like calculated.
Like one thing I find really interesting is like when people come back, people know things before time. So him coming back, people be like, oh yeah, like he probably knew time ago,
bro.
That
Elliot called me, said, "Hey, we're getting the band back together." He's like, "Call the boys, call the ladies,
literally,
we're going to party."
Literally, he originally left.